Say thank you for watching. Do not peck my face. Don't forget to subscribe. Hi you guys, this is Katie from Freckles and Sprouts. As of today, this is our third week having the baby chicks. This is our first flock. I was raised with chickens. We stopped when I was, what was it, Mom? Like 7 or 8, I think. And I absolutely loved having them as a kid, and I always knew I wanted them when I was an adult. And I am so thankful to my husband who finally agreed to pull the trigger and build me my dream coop, which you guys will also be seeing here on YouTube. They're still in their brooder right now, and I just wanted to let you guys know how the first 3 weeks has been. I want to share my experience with you. It's been a blast. There's been some surprises. There's been a lot of things learned. So let me show you all the details. Oh my goodness, go back 4 months ago and I knew almost nothing about chickens. I didn't take care of them when I was a kid. I just enjoyed having them around other than collecting the eggs. So I am a crazy researcher. I'm a good researcher. And I asked many of you on Instagram, I have to thank, because I've been following you and your adorable chickens, and you answered so many of my questions. So definitely do that. Talk to anyone you know who has chickens. Do all the research that you can to prepare yourself the best that you can. Then you're going to figure out, are you going to get them from like Tractor Supply in person, or are you going to order them from a hatchery? I got them from a very popular hatchery. In hindsight, there's a few things I would have done different with the hatchery. They had great customer service. I'm not going to say who it was on here. I don't want to badmouth anybody, but their customer service was excellent. However, they were in Ohio. I'm over here all the way in California. I ordered them the first week of February, which is super, super cold. It happened to be that week. I ended up losing 2 of the chicks. I don't know if it's because it was cold or they got trampled, but it was really sad. 2 showed up barely alive. And I know that they are just fragile and that could just happen regardless, even if you hatch them at home. But it was so sad, but I wish I could have waited until it was a little bit warmer. That's one thing. And also I would choose a hatchery that is much closer to you. Ohio all the way to California. It took, I think they shipped Monday morning and I got them Wednesday morning, something like that. Maybe they shipped Monday afternoon. So this poor thing spent almost 2 days being shipped, and it was really cold, like I said. And when I started out, I ordered 16 of them. I was really bummed the hatchery didn't send any extras because they say in their policies that they do usually do that. And so I was a little disappointed they didn't do that because 2 showed up dead. 1 was very runty and weak. She was so sweet and so tiny, and I did everything I could to keep her alive. But after 24 hours of that, she ended up passing too. The rest of them have been very healthy and robust and great ever since. So it was just those 3, but that's something to prepare yourself for. No matter what you do, there is a really good chance that you will lose at least 1 of them. Get your brooder all set up before they arrive. Make sure that your brooder is set up. I have kind of a subpar video, but it's one of the first YouTube videos I put up, and it was actually our brooder setup, so I won't talk about that here, but that is my dog crate brooder setup that worked great. We already had it, so it was free. Cost us nothing to set up our brooder except the heat lamp. So now that they've gotten larger, I will pan over to a shot of them in their new brooder area, which is actually the old one connected, and then like a larger, almost like their playpen, got attached to it with some other panels. So I will show you guys that right now. Check out this space they have now. It's like a feed store in here. Okay, so talking about food and all that sort of thing that you need for them, you don't need much. You just need clean, constant supply of water. I like to add this to it, as well as another product that I didn't get to try, but my friend Katie, who's also a YouTuber, and another Katie, and she's actually Urban Ladybug. You can go follow her. She has taught me a lot. I'm going to show a screenshot of that product here. She says that it's just a lifesaver. You can get it at Tractor Supply. I don't have any experience with it, but I really wish I would have had it on hand when the chicks arrived. Maybe I could have saved that 3rd chick. I don't know, but I would recommend being prepared with things like that right away. And of course, they're going to be eating constantly pretty much. And we just finished this bag this morning. This is a 10-pound bag of the Mana Pro the chick starter and grower crumbles. Crumbles are really important. Don't get the pellets. Most of them are in crumbles, I think, but don't get the pellets because they're too big for especially the smaller ones. If you have some on the smaller side, they just can't eat it as well. So get the crumbles. That was the non-medicated, it's non-GMO, and I don't have a lot of experience here, like I said, but I'm very happy with that. So we went through that 10-pound bag with 13 chicks, right exactly to the day at 3 weeks. So that gives you an idea of how much they're going through. And they're going through it so much faster, obviously, as they grow so fast. It's crazy. And they're really starting to go through food. The shavings that I purchased from Tractor Supply for 8 cubic feet, it was super compressed. It was a large pine shavings. I think it cost me $5. So, and I think I've gone through with a larger brooder that I made, I've gone through 2 of them, but I do it really deep. And every like once a week, I just use like a small dustpan and I just kind of like turn it over. Basically similar to the method I'm going to be using, the deep litter method, in the actual coop. So it's been keeping things very fresh. So I put really thick, like this much in there. And then, like I said, once a week, I just turn it over. I don't want to like really mix it up into the air, but I just turn over the shavings, give them kind of a fresh pile. And it's been great so far. So that's what I'm just going to keep doing. So you have your food, your medication sort of stuff. And then your pine shavings, of course, you need. You've got your heat lamp and bulb. You really shouldn't be giving the chicks many treats. We do occasionally give them, okay, my kids love giving it to them every day. I shouldn't say occasionally, but they love giving them kale leaves, and they have gotten really hooked on kale leaves. So we do give them those. I figure, I mean, I've read not to do that, but I figure if they were being raised by their mom out in the yard, like, you know, the natural way would be they're going to be eating plants and stuff. So I don't know, doesn't seem so bad to me, but I've been doing that, but it's not necessarily recommended. And it's so cute when they first start taking dust baths. I just am such a nerd about watching birds like out in the yard take a bath, or just like watching the chickens take their dust bath. It's so cute, especially when they're so little. And they will start doing it after like a week or so. If you give them, they even try to do it in the shavings, like especially when the shavings get a little bit finer.
No one's gonna get shoot.
So you just want to use the pure clean wood ash. And I gave them that and some organic potting soil, and I did about 50-50. I did the organic potting soil because what I had was pretty dry out in the yard. It was muddy at the time, so I couldn't put that soil in there, but I got the driest soil that I had, and I did about a 50-50 mix of that and put it in there, and they're just so cute doing that. I can't wait to watch them do it out in the yard. But so a chicken genius over on Instagram, Real Hens of OC is her tag. And she gave me this brilliant recommendation. I haven't done it yet. Sorry, I need to do it. But she said after about a week, it's a good idea to take a handful of the soil from your yard and introduce it to their brooder. And that way they can adjust to the microbes and all of that good stuff that's going to be in the soil they're actually going to be living in. Okay, so here's something that was not a total shock, because people did warn me about it, but it's just, if you're going to have them in your house like we did. So just, here's our homeschool corner. Right here is where I had the dog crate brooder set up, because it was really cold. Like I said, that first week we brought them home, it was in the 20s at night. We have an unheated sunroom that stays like maybe a couple degrees warmer than the outside, and it protects them from the elements. It's set for the temperature. I did not want to have them out there. So I put them right there, and it was fine until all of a sudden, overnight, it seemed like, right at the, when they were just turning, so about a week ago, just turning 2 weeks, out of the blue, there's like a 10-foot radius around here that had this fine, thick dust. I guess it's from them growing in their feathers, but just the fact that it's like bird dander dust, it was so disgusting to me. I immediately set up their new brooder in the sunroom. Thankfully, the temperatures had warmed up a little bit, and they were older, so they've been totally fine out there for the last week. But it took me hours to go through, because this is our homeschool area. All these books and shelves and knickknacks, and all of this was just covered in this fine dust. So be prepared for that. It's shocking how it changes overnight. I couldn't believe it. And they also start getting more active and just like really scratching, and they're messy. They're adorable, but they're messy. So be prepared for that. Before they hit that 2-week-old mark, get another brooder set up, or just be prepared to just, I don't know how anyone could live with that in their house, but FYI. Okay, so make sure that you're not doing anything for like 5 days that's going to take up too much of your time. You have to check their little butts every day, otherwise they get something called pasty butt. It's gross. It's a plug of poop basically that stays, it like dries up. I guess it's caused by stress or the change of food when you get them, or the cold temperatures. I guess there's a few factors that can cause it, but it's really common. It happened to probably 8 to 10 out of my, 13 chicks that survived. And so what you have to do is, they'll fight it. They don't like being flipped onto their back, but once you can get them on their back, their little heads here, and then their little butts here, you can run it under some warm, not hot, warm water, and just let it run and run and run. Depending on how bad it is, it can take a minute or two of just running water on it, but it will eventually just pull away. But don't be yanking at it, because you could tear their feathers or their little fuzz, and that would be sad. So you just run it under the water and dab it, and then I put them, it was warm in the house. They say you should like blow dry them off. I didn't do that, but I just cleaned them off, dabbed them dry with a paper towel, and put them right under the heat lamp, and they were fine. And it was really only like 2 days of dealing with a lot of that. And then after, when they were getting closer to a week, closer to like 5 or 6 days old, that hasn't happened since. So be prepared for that, stuff like that. I mean, I spent like an hour one time just cleaning pasty butts. It was like, wow. Okay, so it's a little more than you might think. Of course, if you're a normal person and you get like 3 hens, it's not so hard. But if you're a crazy person like me who has to get 16 for your absolute first experience, then yeah, it could be a little bit much. So I think that's everything I can think of right now. Overall, it has just been super fun. I am nervous about some of them turning out to be roosters, even though I ordered females. I have heard a lot of stories lately about people who thought they ordered a bunch of females and they turned out to be like half roosters. So I'm going to be pretty devastated, especially if it's some of our favorites, because there are just, like I said, there's like 6 or 8 of them that are just so sweet, and they really seem attached to us, and we've all just bonded with them. So we'll see. That's kind of something I'm holding my breath on. I guess at like 10 to 15 weeks, you can start to tell. And a lot of people told me you don't know until they crow. So that'll be the next thing I find out. And then in about 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to be moving out to the coop. That's going to be really exciting. And I will be sure to record all of that excitement for you guys. And I think that pretty much sums up how it has been for the first 3 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. I would so appreciate it. I'm really grateful for your support. Let me know in the comments, are you planning on getting chicken? Has this inspired you to get chickens? Has it scared you to get chickens? Let me know. I want to hear from you in the comments.